Nation. We're back.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Fire the Cannon. I'm Rocky.
And I'm Megan, and we are Fire the Cannon.
Welcome back, Megan. How are you?
Oh, girl, kind of crazy, but good, hanging in. Been a nuts week, like a short week, trying to prepare. Between getting back late from Kentucky to getting ready for Mississippi, but hanging in. How are you doing?
Good. Just getting nodded through all this. We're still in college application stuff. Lots of good news coming in from lots of schools. I'll let her share that when she wants to share where she's going, but we still don't know yet. Big thing though is the Westlake Battle of the Lakes. I had to wear my Ellinger jersey, and we have our special guest Tope Imade tonight. And this was his little QB1 for a minute, so I had to wear my Ellinger jersey for two reasons tonight. Battle of Westlake's Friday night. It looks like it might be raining or, we'll see. Anyway, yeah, just busy. Yeah, Miracle Martinez, we'll talk about it. This was literally my crying face for an hour and a half when I saw that Michael Taft injury news yesterday. And that, yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there. But you're surviving, Megan. You made it tonight. That's good.
Yeah, hanging in. Definitely hope that we never have another schedule where we are out of town every freaking weekend in 1 month, because it is a grind. I get back late. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I get back Sunday. Like I said, like from Kentucky, I got back at 3:30 a.m., had to be at work, had to wake up for work at 6:30. So 3:30 a.m., Sunday night, Monday morning. And then, I turn around and I've got to be ready because I leave right after work tomorrow. So I got to get everything locked and loaded tonight, laundry done, everything packed, everything done for the weekend.
You choose this life, Megan. You choose
I do.
But it is a bummer when everything's weekend after weekend of having to be all the way away. We're at the end of ours. Aggies are about to go to the beginning of theirs of being away for about a month too from their home stadium. So they're going to feel your pain too, following their team to the different stadiums. Megan, tell everybody our special guest. I kind of teased it, but let everybody know who our special guest is tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a Tope Imade coming on. It's going to be super exciting. We know that, we've talked about it. We've definitely seen a little bit of up and down from the O-line. And I know you guys have questions. We know, we truly appreciate Tope coming on. He's going to talk about it. Former O-lineman for Texas. Really excited to get his thoughts, his insights, and kind of see what he thinks. Is all hope lost? Should we be patient? What's going on? What to expect?
Should we be patient?
Yeah, yes. I know. Crazy talk over here, right? But yeah, I'm really excited to have him on and love his insights. We've had him on the show before, and he's always been a big fan of Kyle Flood. I mean, he was one of the first ones before that Flood, got going. He said, be patient. Like the things he does, he's meticulous. He brings a lot to the table. And sure enough, we watched the O-lines develop. So definitely curious to get his take on the state of things for Texas right now. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Before we jump into that, of course, we'll do just a quick final recap of the Kentucky game. You guys know that we were there on Monday. We did a full recap of that. So if you haven't checked it out, please check us out on YouTube at Fire the Cannon Podcast, or you can always find it on whatever platform that you listen to your podcast. It is live and ready to go. So yeah, Rocky, let's jump into it. Let's just a quick final recap of Kentucky. Did you have any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was upsetting. It was disappointing to see them take a step back after we had really got excitement and momentum coming. We thought we had some momentum going after that incredible complete team performance against OU. We know whenever we say there's a rivalry game, throw the records out, we say all those things. And really when it's a rivalry match, you're going to get a dog fight, a brawl between the two teams. It's always going to happen that way. Or you're going to have a ridiculous lopsided affair, which Texas has gone back and forth, Sarkisian and Brett Venables the last few years with some nail biter or lopsided. And it's been the extremes, right? So we were just kind of disappointed and confused. We know there was injuries on the O-line. There was moving people around. That was very understandable. And we'll get to ask Tope about this in a minute, about what it's like to actually be in the trenches. He's been on successful teams that were building and winning, and he was on teams that struggled and had to get a new coach. So if anyone can tell us about being on both sides of that, he can. So it was just disappointing to see a really good team gets better week after week. And you would think by week 6, 7, the 7th game of the season, there would be a more understanding of what this team really does well. We thought we saw that against OU, the short passing game, being able to run effectively. And it just felt like it was big steps back. And against a team that we know was there was a lot on the line for that team. They really had a lot of pride in their homecoming night. They wanted to give a good fight. They really threw out all the stops against Texas and played their best game in a long time. But it shouldn't have been a dogfight like that, with Texas beating themselves, Texas making mistakes. It's not a reliable plan to count on the defense to hold other teams to 13 points.
Yeah. And look,
what were your final thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we are going to, you bring very good points. You're absolutely right on every single one. But if we are going to look at that silver lining, it is that our defense has been so outstanding. They've stood up. Yes. They've really made a difference. Like, I felt like Kentucky felt like a bend don't break situation. Like, they were strong. And even in the few times that they were like, oh crap, here's, they give up a big play here and there, they always responded. They kept Kentucky out. And again, of course, that overtime 4th and inches stop was incredible. That was incredible. Yes. And so you're right. It is not, you don't have your best odds when you are relying on your defense to keep teams to low double digits or lower. Right?
On the road, right.
On the road. Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly not the way that you stack the cards in your favor. But Texas has been fortunate with that really incredible defensive effort. I will also say something that Texas fans, look, if you guys want to look at something and be happy about something, when is the last time that we've been able to look at a special teams from Texas and go, hell yeah, proud of them. Look what they're doing. Look at all these things. Of course, we saw Ryan Niblett, like, things are really working for him. He's really starting to figure that out. We've got an incredible punter in Bo Meester. Shipley's been stepping up. He earned some awards this week. So again, it feels like when that Texas offense is a little unreliable compared to how it's been in the past, it is nice to know that there are the other pieces of Texas football that are working really well. And I do have the confidence that the offense is going to figure it out. Now, that timeline, that's where it gets a little questionable, right? We don't know. Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be next year? I don't know. I think there are definitely some questions there, right? But there are some positives that we can take away. And there are certainly some things that Texas has to grow on and has to work on as well. So we'll definitely dive into that. So I don't think all is lost. I'm certainly less confident in our early season predictions at this stage than I was going into it. But I certainly don't think this season is a wash, right? I'm not just going in. It doesn't feel like the late stages of the Charlie Strong era where we're like, just whatever. There's no hope. It's fine. It's whatever happens is going to happen. It's fine. So I'll take that as a positive with this young team.
Yeah, I think like we've done this a couple times already this season, is I feel like we have to constantly keep readjusting our score prediction for the season, right? Our game win-loss prediction for the season. We felt we kind of made not excuses, but could understand the loss at Ohio State, but it was still confusing that, Arch had missed some wide open things, but the O-line played great. And so we had positivity that was, first start on the road jitters, all the things, right? And the defense was stellar, and that gave us confidence. And then we saw the struggles in the non-conference games. And then we had a couple of injuries on the O-line, start to add up. And then we get into conference play and you have a Kentucky team that could do nothing against anyone, play their best game against Texas. And then, they shine against OU in the rivalry game, complete team win, and then they struggle again in Kentucky. And I think that's what's confusing about what's happening right now is we don't know yet, at least we're learning a lot about special teams and defense, but it feels like an offense, which is Sark's baby, right? And we can get into this later with Tope about play calling and things like that. But you would think with the talent they've recruited and having, one of the best evaluated quarterbacks in college football recruiting history, right? One of the best ever. You would think that there would be more happening. Fantastic receivers, DeAndre Moore, Ryan Wingo, 5-star, all these young 5-stars. They can't get the run game going. It doesn't make sense this far into the season that they're still don't have an identity on offense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's certainly a lot of questions, right? And I think what we're seeing, I think it's fair to say that this team is looking younger than we anticipated them to look this year. But when you really take a step back and you look at it, you go, well, yeah, they are young. We know that Manning had crazy, unrealistic expectations on his shoulders because of his last name, because of the performance that we saw last year in his few starts that he had when Ewers was hurt. And I think it was easy for fans and for the media to forget that the O-line that Manning is starting behind this year is worlds different. I'm not going to say better, worse, but at this stage, you're taking, what Ewers had to work behind was an experienced O-line that had been together for years and years and years.
One of the best in the country.
Absolutely. And what Manning is working with right now, while they are talented, they don't have the snaps, and they don't have the snaps together that the previous O-line had, right? So you got to keep that in mind. And I know it's really easy to overlook how important, the consistency with the O-line is, the experience of the O-line is. It's easy to overlook the O-line, which is crazy because that really is your most important group. Again, they're the unsung heroes. But we saw that last week. We saw with Hudson out, your center who touches the ball literally more than anybody on the field. There was some inconsistencies there with him being out, some miscommunications. So you can't underplay how important that is. So I think that's just, we got to take that deep breath. We got to take a moment, recognize that this is a very different O-line right now that we are seeing because of experience compared to last year. So you got to keep those realistic expectations for sure.
All right. Well, speaking of unsung heroes, let's bring in one of our favorite offensive linemen from Texas football is joining us again. Thank you so much, Tope Imade. When you're ready, there you go. Welcome.
Hey, Rocky. Hey, Fancy. How are you guys?
Doing good.
I have to show you, I wore my Ellinger jersey today
Nice.
for the Westlake. I'm sure living in Austin for a while, you're familiar with the Westlake Lake Travis battle. That is this Friday night, probably in the rain for the first time in months. We get rain. Welcome.
Yeah, that's perfect Friday Night Lights weather right there. So, yeah.
I love it. How have you been, my friend? It's been a few minutes since we've seen you.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been. I think the last time I was on here was 3 years ago. I think early 2022, maybe.
It was.
Or maybe late 21. I forgot. But yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, I've been good. Living in Austin. I think it's going to be 10 years next May. So yeah, just enjoying life, finding myself, and just enjoying what's Austin's turning into. So
yeah, absolutely. So I know. Last time we talked to you, I know you have a deep interest in kind of gaming, and you talked about maybe doing some designing. What are you into right now?
Yeah, I just kind of shifted to YouTube. I just invested in YouTube. Everything about me is just YouTube now, and I feel like YouTube's the future of TV. People are cutting the cable, so it's all about direct to consumer. How can you do that? And that's automatically through YouTube. So that's kind of been my focus, and it's kind of what I'm into now. So things change over the years. And
heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Well, before we jump in too much, tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them about your channel and where they can find you.
So this channel logo kind of ripped, but Yes, it's I Space Face. It was really just Space Face, but that username was taken, so I just added an I in front of there. So yeah, so that's why you can find me on Twitter and you can find me on YouTube at I Space Face. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we know that your time is precious, so we will jump right in. Again, we truly appreciate you being here
Of
tonight.
course. Thank
Um,
you, guys.
oh, of course, of course. We know you hear the chatter. We know that you see it. You're definitely active online,
Yeah,
definitely active on Twitter. And you know probably better than anyone how Texas fans can be perhaps a little impatient. Maybe that's a
yeah,
fair, kind way to put it. So you've seen everything going on. So let's jump in with the O line. You know where they are right now, and Texas perhaps not living up to fair or unfair expectations for
yeah.
this season. What are your initial thoughts on the state of Texas football right now, and then specifically the O line?
Uh, it's football in general is just kind of like at a weird place. I think just coming from where we've been the past decade, we kind of took the last 2 years and like, oh, we kind of got used to that, and this year is kind of different. Two losses really early, so for the state of Texas football in general, like I feel pretty good, and that's just the optimist in me. The pessimist is at a different place right now, and we can get to him later.
That's
But
fair. That's fair.
yeah, but in terms of the O line, yeah, it's not as consistent as we can be, and y'all know me, and y'all know my story, and uh, I've always been the biggest advocate for Coach Flood, and I always will be. And some may say it's bias, which it is. Like just how like anything in life, you're around somebody for so long, you grow fond of that person, especially if they made you grow as a player. So there is no panic in the O line room in terms of coaching, but definitely with players actually being consistent and actually playing to their ability on the field is where the concern is. And that's why you see on Twitter, it's nothing like, oh, Flood sucks, Flood this, Flood this. It's more of a criticism of, damn, you should have used the portal, damn, you should have done this. There's no question you can develop players. It's just that maybe these guys are taking longer than expected, but Flood as a coach isn't being questioned. It is people are like, oh yeah, use the portal, which is the automatic fix nowadays. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair, right or wrong. With the portal, with that availability, it
Yeah,
has changed how coaches, how teams are comprised, right, and
for sure.
how they build teams. So I definitely think that's a question that a lot of folks have. But you, like you said, you've always been a big advocate of Coach Flood. We've seen what he can produce. Can you
Yeah,
take us inside of that culture a little bit? Take us into the locker room when you were there. I know your experience. You had a lot of change when
yeah,
you were with Texas, and you stuck with it, and
for sure.
you developed quite a bit. So take us in that locker room a little bit. Tell us about the culture that Coach Sarkisian has created and that Coach Flood has created.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, I think me and Denzel were like the only players in Texas football history to have three head coaches, which is insane.
It's wild,
Yeah,
wild.
it's crazy. But what I think, I don't think my last year was Stark's first year. I don't think that is a good example of culture. Even though it was more of like the foundation building blocks, because again, we went 5-7. I don't think a 5-7 year should be defined as a culture year. But if you want to talk about building blocks and foundation, like yes, it was set there. We still have guys like Roshan. Obviously, 6th-year seniors with me and Denzel, Derek Kerstetter, Bijan, all these other guys. So it wasn't really like bad culture. It was more of learning Coach Stark's style, his habits, what he likes, what doesn't like, and also getting his players in. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily a bad culture, but again, it was just the first step in his program. So if that's what my last year had to come down to, then I'm more than fine with that. The Sugar Bowl was fine. It was fine for me, right? Like I just want to see Texas football succeed whenever, like even after I'm done playing. So I never had any aspirations of going to the NFL or anything like that. But seeing other guys start put up, produce guys, develop them, produce them in the NFL. That's all I can ask for a few, future Longhorns coming in. So, yeah, the culture now is amazing. So
Yeah, you had a Q&A on Reddit about a year so ago, and you had,
yeah, last summer,
someone had asked you about the differences in the coaches, and you kind of said Sark was a perfect balance of, Strong's laid back style, coaching style, and then Herman came in more with, having to really flip things with a militant, you kind of use the word militant mindset.
yeah.
But you said Sark was the perfect blend of those, a player's coach, but he'll get on your ass.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that and how you think how do you think Sark's really handling the situation now when the defense and special teams seem to be clicking, but his side of the ball is still getting it together?
Well, I promise you, he's not trying to be a player's coach with the offense, with the offense producing the way they are. I promise you that. But yeah, I feel like at this point, when we talk about culture, it's less of Sark saying something, and it's more of the defense and special teams saying like, "Hey, offense, here we go, like let's go." Because if Sark is still saying something in year 5 or 6, then like that's the culture issue. Culture is a reflective, it's just reflective of the team. Like how can the team hold each other accountable? Sark, our first year, did a lot of the talking, did a lot of the motivating. And then, as you can see in 2022, 2023, 2024, and even now, even though we have 2 losses, it's still a player-led team. You can say that by Colin Simmons' response in the press conference after the game last week. So of course, Sark, acknowledges the offense and having its struggles and its woes, but at the end of the day, nobody's holding the offense more accountable than the other team, than the other side of the ball. So that's what I feel.
Okay.
I love it. So can you give us some insight? We talked a little bit. Again, last week we know that Connor Stroh was out and that we saw Cole Hudson, our starting center, is gone. Yeah. Take us through the importance of that, because I do think, we were talking about this a little bit right before you jumped on. Sometimes I think it's easy for fans to overlook the importance of the O-line. So can you tell us what changes when your starting center is gone?
Oh man. Yeah, things went to shit without Jake. I mean, like we know our stuff. We know our stuff. And I played with Jake since he was a freshman, early 2020. He finally got his first start, Kansas State, later that year. But Jake, I made this response to some guy on Twitter. I forgot who I was talking to. I was like, Jake was, I think it was CJ Vogel, maybe, I don't know. But Jake was the most nonchalant, like calm person in meetings all the time. And I remember in 2020 when he first got the start in Kansas State, Coach Hand would ask him like, "Hey Jake, how do you feel about this?" Not him telling Jake, "Jake, you're gonna block it this way." Jake, how do you feel about this? What feels more comfortable to you? And like, Jake isn't coaching Coach Hand at this point, but he's just like saying, "Yeah, I like this. Yeah, this. Nah, I don't like that." Like Jake was the smartest player I've ever played against. I mean, I played with. I'm sorry, and he not only knew defenses, coverages, screens, timing, guards, the guards assignments, tackles assignments, and you couldn't ask for a better person. And that's a hard act to follow. When we're talking about Cole Hudson, right? So Jake being the starter for 4+ years, I mean, that dude knows the offense like the back of his hand. Like, I'm not surprised he wasn't on staff. You know what I mean? Like, he's that smart. And for your starting center to go down, no matter how much experience that is, like, he is the smartest guy on that line. So with Cole not playing, of course, there are going to be more mistakes than usual on that offensive line. You have experience with DJ, which is great, but then you have a true freshman and Nick Brooks at left guard. Brandon Baker, first year starter. Gooseby, left tackle. He's still trying to gain his feet. Like he finished last year off great when Kelvin went down. Now he's still trying to like play a full season as the full starter. So like in general, excluding DJ, it's experience throughout the it's inexperience throughout the whole line. And again, that's not Flood's fault. I mean, he teaches them the right technique. Like his teaching does not change, right? It's just a matter of experience. Like you're grateful if you have an offensive line that's played together for 3 years. And that's reflective of the success we had in 2023 and 2024. But 2025, like you have new guys, of course, are going to be mistakes with a new quarterback, and it's just insane. So it's just an experience thing, right? What we can do now to fix it? We're 7 games in, almost going on 8. There's not much you can do except try and be consistent every week. That's
Sure.
play better than he did last week. That's the mindset right now. Whatever the season comes to at the end, whatever bowl, playoff berth, SEC championship, whatever it is, at the end of the day, those issues will be fixed in the offseason. I'm sure Coach Flood will, see to that. But there's no issues with him coaching. There's no issues with him, holding his players accountable, because nobody's chewing them out more than Flood. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't like admissible, like, terrible O-line play. I promise you that. He's holding his guys accountable. He's trying, right? But missing a freaking center, it's not good for anybody. So
you're right. It's not. Well, and I like what you're saying too. I mean, at the end of the day, reps matter, right? Yeah, and exactly. it's just going to be one of those issues. And then on top of that, you throw in that we had a couple guys out last week and we're playing kind of rotating O-line.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Coach Flood's style? Like, does he, in practice, do you guys get a lot of reps at different positions? How does that help?
Yeah, I mean, just being able to be versatile, throughout the offensive line. Obviously, a bigger guy like me, I'm not, I've never played center a day in my life. I never snapped the ball, so I just rotated both guards. I wasn't playing tackle, so even if you're just a guard, you're going to play both sides. If you're a tackle, you're going to play both sides. Even if you're a guard, some guards, take reps at center. But in terms of his practice style, he's like any other coach. He's going to jump your ass when you're doing good. He won't say anything when he'll jump your ass when you're doing bad. He won't say anything when you're doing good, because you can't pat yourself on the back too well, and
doesn't let you get too high, doesn't let you get too low.
Exactly, that's the type of guy he is, and
sure.
He's just a great teacher. I don't really like calling him a coach. That's who he is, but he's a teacher, and that's all he does. It's all. He's a former teacher, I think he was like a math teacher in high school or whatever, a high school math teacher, and then he transitioned to coaching. But he knows how to get guys blocking the right way, and obviously it's going to be harder to do that against one of the best defenses in the country in our defense at practice, but it's only going to make us better. So I like to think I don't like to think about this, but imagine if our defense wasn't as good as it was, how the offensive line be playing, So It could be worse, what I mean? So, and trust me,
it could be worse.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. First, what is the pet that's in your lap? I need to see. Is that a cat or a dog?
It says Sharpie.
That's the best name. It just has to be. Is it a Sharpie boy or girl?
A boy. And then,
so he just has to be be in your lap.
Okay, that's adorable. Sharpie's adorable because he looks like a Sharpie.
Yeah. And then Splenda, she's the white pug. She's somewhere else. So.
Oh, cute. That was the most important thing. I needed to see that dog. So what do you think? Okay, I know you kind of said we're already 7 games in. We kind of are what we are. We can't go back now with 2020 hindsight and say, oh, we should get on the O-line or this and that, because we know, especially now in the yes, we're in the transfer portal days, but we are also in the NIL days, right? And it costs a lot of money to go find an offensive lineman who can come into a Power 4 program and start or compete for a starting job, right? And that's what you're going to bring someone in for, who can compete and contribute, right? To pay them that kind of money. So what can you see them do, strategically, or maybe play calling schematically, something that can help get through the gauntlet that's coming, right? I know Vanderbilt can put up points. We've got to be able to score with them. Going on the road to Mississippi State, we're going to face Georgia defense that had their way with Texas last year in Austin, and then the Aggies, who look solid. We have a lot of football to play. What can they do to get through this season? And then what do you think they should do in the off season, if anything, in the transfer portal?
For the season, I just do your best, man. I couldn't tell you. We've seen about 18 rotations. We're trying to, we're trying to find that core group, and even that there's still leakages. So just block somebody, block somebody, get your hands on somebody, make a hole something. In terms of off season, zeros. Just add any zero, any number, whatever, get somebody. It's just we need experience, right? And people are talking about the left tackle from Colorado. I think it's Jordan Seaton. He's pretty good. But when it comes to the offseason, blank check, everybody, blank check, whatever.
Mm.
And I hope this
Just
is like a
make
testament
it
to show,
rain.
like that the team centers around the offensive line, and that's not me speaking from bias. It's like it's just true. Like we're dead last in offense in the SEC. Like we can only go as far as the offensive line takes us, and part of that, like people have their criticisms of Arch, and it's like, okay, imagine if the offensive line was more consistent. And sometimes not even the offensive line, like Sark said a couple of days ago, running backs miss blocks, receivers run the wrong route. Like some guys, some defenses blitz 6 guys, and we only have 5 guys. We can't block everybody, right? So what we can do is limit the amount of hits that Arch can take. And at the end of the day, like it's a collective effort, a collective offensive effort to get Arch going, even though he has to do some work on his end. But at the end of the day, like offensive line, just if they play like 10-15% better, we're probably having a different conversation after Florida. So
that's fair. Well, okay, so there's hope in that, right? It's small increments, little changes can make big differences. And I mean, look, again, it is hard to overstate how important the O-line is. And we know that Arch hasn't been perfect, but it's difficult. Again, he's a young quarterback. He's got to get his reps to get his time in, get those snaps under his belt, get comfortable again too. But that's exponentially harder when you don't have time and when you're running for your life or you're getting hit every other play. So definitely, like we've got, like I said, we all got to kind of find our zen, take a breath, recognize that it's all pieces of a puzzle that fits. It's not just black and white, right? It's all pieces of the puzzle that fits together. Well, so let's talk about it. Like, have you seen? Let's focus on some positivity here. What are some good things? Yeah, what are some good things that you've seen out of the O-line, and then further on, how has that affected the rest of the team? Give us a couple positives, right? Like,
I think that the one consistent positive I've seen is DJ Campbell. Like he's probably the most physical guard in the SEC, and you can see it by watching film. Knockdown, blocks. He's moving on screens. Less penalties than he had last year. Like the guy is dominant, right? And the rest of the offensive line, they can they've done well pass blocking it sometimes, and if they can learn from DJ and it just be a little more physical and consistent, then we're fine. DJ's a great player. So I'm really trying to think of more like.
No, look, it's
that's good. That's good. Something they can build on.
It is absolutely.
They can just. Oh God, yeah.
Leadership. It's a good opportunity for him to take that leadership role and really light the rest of the team. When you lead by example, it helps a lot better when you can speak, right? We know you mentioned Arch is on his back or getting hit. He's already been hit more in 7 games than Quinn was all last year. So he's a big guy, but that is not a recipe for success to have the quarterback having to keep getting up. And or then feeling the pressure, and that mental cycle when you're about to get hit or you just been hit and you got to keep getting hit. That's not good for your psyche either, right?
Exactly. And that's just what I talked about earlier. Like come off season, like I can't promise you like this offensive line is going to be completely different next year. And honestly, competition breeds success. Like if we bring in guys that want to compete, and like that just forces other guys to get better, and that's what we need as a team right now. Because you see in the D-line room, you see it in the edge room, like linebacker room. These are dudes. You take Anthony Hill out, you got Ty Anthony Smith. Like everybody's like just dudes in there. So I'm not saying the offensive line doesn't have dudes, but like competition should, like a true freshman. Like how hard is it to start a true freshman on the offensive line? Like that's unheard of at some places. So that Brooks, I forgot, I don't know his first name. I'm sorry. But
Nick Brooks,
he needs to be pushed, like made by an upperclassman, something like that. But for him to start, the competition in that room isn't really, because again, it's like our 18th rotation. So I know Flood is trying to find the best 5 guys to put out there. But at the same time, you got to bring guys in to push the guys that you currently have. And I'm sure he'll make that decision when the time comes in the offseason.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think that's something too that you know, we have to keep in mind he is a true freshman, and
Yeah,
and
for sure.
he
Like,
has. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was saying like first game in the Red River Shootout, like that's a tough, that's a tough,
Crazy.
So like, I mean, of course I'm gonna give him some slack, but I just bring up the true freshman aspect of it just to say like, like again, it's unheard of. So that's how you know like the competition in that room it just isn't where it needs to be. Especially with I think Neto's a third or fourth year, Connor Stroh's third or fourth year. So it's like if Nick Brooks, the true freshman who didn't start off the year as a starter, is the current starter, 7 games in, like, yeah, something's going on. Either something's not clicking, they're not listening because Flood said, like they're listening in practice, but it's not carrying over to the game. Like something is the issue. And I guess we'll never know. As bad as I mean, like I went to high school with DJ, right? Like I'm like 3 or 4 grades older than him, but we don't even talk like that. It's more of like a hi bye, like how you doing, how's practice type deal. It's never like give me the inside scoop of what's going on, like So we never know what's going on in that room, and who's actually doing what and what the true issues are. But we just hope that every week Flood trots out the best 5 guys that played that that practice well that week. So just got to get through these next 4 games and see where we're at.
Absolutely. Well,
do you think
let's talk
there's
about
something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to ask. Do you think, like thinking about moving forward too? Do you think there's something in the play calling that Sark can like strategize or plan or put them in he talks all the time about putting them in the best positions to succeed. We saw them, be inspired at their play against OU, and then the play calling kind of fell back a little bit. It was a little confusing for putting them in their best position to succeed against Kentucky. Is there something that you think would be best in the play calling that this group can do well?
Well, I'll tell you this. Every play is designed to score, right? So like I feel like it's less about play calling and more about execution on the player standpoint. You have dudes on the outside. You have Ryan Wingo, and I feel the most bad for him. You have Parker Livingston. Like you have guys. Every play is designed to score, but like again, it all starts with the offensive line. Are you gonna block long enough to have Arch get the ball off? Are you gonna make holes for Trey Wisner or Clark or CJ Baxter? Like it's all a matter of the offensive line. So if it's blocked well, then all of a sudden Sark is the greatest play caller ever, right? But again, every play is designed to score. It's just a matter of is the play getting started the right way? Are the offensive line getting 2 yards of push when it comes to run blocking? Like are people getting their double teams? Are people holding? Like penalties were pretty huge last game when it came to the offensive line. And I think Brandon Baker had one late, which took us out of field goal range. We ended up getting it back in there. But it's just again, if the offensive line plays better, I don't think we have this conversation of is Sark a great play caller or not. So that's just my opinion, though.
No, that's fair.
That's what I told Megan Monday night. That's what I told you Monday night. Like, Sark looks like a great play caller the last 2 years, right? Because you have a great O-line, experienced quarterback, NFL receivers on the field. He looks like a genius. And when they have a struggling young group, people say, "Oh, he can't. He needs to give up play calling." Like, it helps when you have superstars that are experienced on the field, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Megan, go ahead.
No, you're good.
That's the one thing. The one difference is the offensive line. Like that's the biggest difference. That was the biggest question coming into this season. Like, can his offensive line with one returning starter be as good as it was the past 2 years? And obviously we have our answer. Experience does matter. But yeah, all of a sudden this year Sark is getting doubted as being a terrible play caller. Like, no, or just go hire an offensive coordinator. Like, no, that's not the case. It's just if it's blocked well, the play does well. And people are just looking for somebody to blame. So it's bullshit. So
no, that's fair. That's absolutely true. And look, again, Texas fans are world renowned for their patience, right?
Oh yeah, trust me, I'll lose my mind on Twitter too. Like I'm just as I like in the heat of the moment, like, bro, what are we doing? Like, come on. But at the end of the day, like I get it. Like I'm just like as a passionate fan as anybody else out there, and especially having played, like I just want guys to win. I want guys to, we went to the Big 12 championship in 2018. We lost. I'm like, damn, I wish the guys after me, get the feeling of accomplishing that, and they did 5 years later, right? So I just have these expectations, and is it me drinking a Kool-Aid? Maybe, but like I just have these expectations of a national championship every year for these guys, and this year is kind of like a little wonky, but and we have 3 top 10 teams in our last 4 games, so it's if we pull it off, if not, we still have a chance to ruin A&M season before the postseason starts. So that's where my head's at right now.
Are we relegated to playing spoiler for other people when we started the season number 1 in the country?
That's all I want. If we could just beat A&M, like it's ruined this.
That's always nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Mike D, thank you for the question. He says, if VY or Colt had a game, or the offense had a game they had against Kentucky, would we give them grace or not? I'm going to say we did, but we didn't in the moment. We do in retrospect, because let's say this, Vince Young wasn't perfect his first starts. He had some rough games too. Colt had some rough games too. Statistically, if you look at it, Arch Manning is pacing pretty well. He's like right along with Vince or Colt, if not a little bit ahead statistically. The difference is
our eyeballs.
But the difference is those guys, number one, we've got some time between it, right? So we tend to forget the rough games and we idolize the really good ones. And on top of that too, they had different O-lines that they were behind. Vince Young had probably the greatest O-line in Texas history. Colt McCoy, same thing. He had incredible guys that were blocking for him. So it's not to say that our guys can't get there or won't get there, but that's a really hard comparison when we talk about having a true freshman starting on your O-line, having some guys that haven't played a full season together already, right? Like that is hard to compare with dudes like Casey Studdard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we just got to take a breath on that for a second. So, woof.
All right. Well, we know we only have you for a few more minutes, so we're going to wrap up finish with some positivity, and then we do have some rapid fire questions for you. Just some fun, nothing embarrassing, just some fun, quick questions for you, so people can get to know you a little bit more again. But let's wrap up with the O-line talk, or the offensive strategy or struggles talk, with some positivity. What can this team do? And just give us some positivity and excitement going forward with some of the talent, not necessarily the O-line, but just on the offense, so some players that excite you, or things that you're seeing on the field that have you look and feel good that this team can score some points.
Ryan Wingo still hasn't had a big game yet, and that's coming soon. Whether it be Mississippi State, whether it be A&M, he has a big game coming up. And Parker Livingston's had a couple. He's due for another one. Ryan Wingo is the guy that I'm like hoping he just pops off. And I think he had one against UTEP or whatever, or UTSA. I forgot who he played, but he's due for a huge game. It's been way too long for him. CJ Baxter's coming back. But yeah, in terms of positives, it's really just Ryan Wingo on the offense. Defense, Colin Simmons is coming into his own again. 7 sacks, could finish with double digits this year. Yeah, I think he had 9 last year. I really want Anthony Hill to win the Butkus Award. The only thing he's missing is sacks. He's the best linebacker in the country. All he's missing is sacks. So once he starts getting that, we have some postseason award talk. But those are the kind of positives that are keeping me going throughout the season. And I'm praying for Taft too. I just wanted to mention that, with his thumb. So yeah, hopefully he's back soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Rocky.
I would just say thank you. Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, no. Again, with the Mookie thing, I'm hoping that I appreciate that Texas was transparent about it and saying, look, he could be out for 3 weeks. We may have him back as early as Vandy. Yeah. They're not going to try to pull some burnt vegetables stuff where, gosh, he could not. We don't know. He may never ever come back to football. Of course, he's going to play against Texas. Come on, man.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, Max. Tope, that's awesome. All right, we got some rapid fire questions. Before we jump into that, I got to ask you, what are some matchups you like against Mississippi State for Texas? How do you see that?
I don't know too many Mississippi State players except Brennan Thompson. And I'm not sure if he's going to get lined up in front of Malik, but it's going to be shut down. That's all. Malik's been outstanding this year. So if he has a chance to line up against Malik, I'll take Malik, 7 days out the week all day. So yeah.
Nice.
Positivity. I love it. I love it. I'm
Yes,
here for
yes,
it.
positivity. If you have a question for Tope Imade, please put that in the comments now. We already have a question I see. So we'll do our rapid fire questions for you, and then we'll get whatever's in the comments. So first, if you could have played another position besides offensive line, what would it have been?
Tight end. I always want to catch the ball.
I like
Okay.
it.
Tight end, yeah. And I still wanted the block, so yeah. So tight end's the perfect position.
I love
Perfect.
it. I love it. All right. I'm going to actually ask one from CB. I'm sure you're familiar with him.
Okay.
So are you more excited about the upcoming MCU movies or James Gunn's DCU?
James Gunn. MCU's garbage now. Like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been like let's just be real with it, man. It's too much oversaturation. You put out 6 movies and 5 TV shows in a year. Nobody's gonna want to catch up and do all that. So James Gunn, 2 movies a year. You build anticipation throughout the year. That's what it is, man. I haven't seen an MCU movie. I saw Fantastic Four, but there's shows I haven't watched, movies I haven't watched in the past couple of years. And then, like I told Fancy and Rocky before that, in the beginning of the show, I was like, things change, interests change, and Marvel has been dropping the ball. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna move on from that. So, yeah, I've just been on YouTube majority of the time now, just watching content and making content. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah,
I love it. All right, Rocky, you got one?
Favorite flavor ice cream?
Vanilla. Do not like chocolate at all. I do not like chocolate.
All right.
That's right. You know what? Oh, yeah, I was gonna say Nadia would appreciate that. That's her favorite flavor of ice cream, period, out of everything is vanilla. So
yeah,
Mexican vanilla, but yeah, a little bit different, tiny bit different. All right, when you're on the road and you need to pull to the drive-through spot, where are you pulling into, and what's the order?
Like any drive-through.
Drive-through. Just going through a drive-through. Which one are you looking for?
I'm going Cane's Caniac combo. Like really, like whenever I travel for like Texas games, I think the same could be said for you guys. Like the number one stop is Buc-ee's, and I always get a sausage on the stick.
Clearly.
Yeah. And I'll say this, like those I haven't seen cleaner restrooms.
Insane,
ever.
right? No.
It's green light to tell you which ones are open.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like oh my God, like I just go there just like, just check out a Buc-ee's real quick and just walk around. But oh my God.
You don't even need to stop for fuel. You don't even need to go. You're just like,
not at all. Just parking the parking lot
in.
and just going there. I think we're building one in San Marcos. I'm like, I'm gonna just take off work one day and just drive down and just see what's at this Buc-ee's whenever it gets built. So yeah, I think the first time I went there was when we played Washington 2 years ago. That was like my first time going to Buc-ee's. Thought I was in heaven, man. Oh my gosh. This place is amazing.
It is. It's like I always tell people I need adult supervision when I go to Buc-ee's because I do not make smart financial decisions at all. Like it's foolish. Yeah. And I will say this, one thing I do love about the SEC, because I drive to most of the games to bring the dogs and set up the tailgates and stuff. There are Buc-ee's all along the way. Like I planned out when I went to Florida, I didn't have to fuel up anywhere else. It was all Buc-ee's. They were just spaced right. So that's nice. It's nice to be able to do that. All right, let me get this one in. Who would play you in a movie?
Who would play me? People said, but I remember in high school, people said I looked like Tyler Perry. I didn't get that shit. So I would say Tyler Perry, sadly. But if I had it pissed me off. Oh my gosh.
Who do you want to play you? How about that?
If I had I think Damson Idris, like he's definitely like half my size.
Okay.
He's half my size, but damn it, he's so fucking cool. So I'll go with him.
You work with a trainer 24 hours a day. All right. So when you were transitioning from college ball to your post-college professional career, what was the best advice you got?
I think it's from my grad school professor. He was just saying, like, just do what you love. Don't try and fit in like any other box people try and put you in. Like, I got to grad school for marketing. It was like, you don't have to like put in this job you just fucking hate. Like, do what you love, whether it be social media or sales, whatever it is. Just do something that like you're not being put in the box they end up hating years later. So that was the best advice, and that's what I'm following right now. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right. What college stadium do you wish you played at when you were at Texas?
Oh God, I would say Kyle Field because I played like all our rivals. OU, of course, that was in Dallas. USC in 2017, which is insane. but I really wanted the trifecta of Kyle Field. You know, like I don't know who else considers Texas their rivals, but I know that there was history with USC, obviously Oklahoma, but A&M, that's definitely, and it's considered one of the loudest stadiums in college football. So that's definitely one I definitely missed out on, but wanted to experience.
That's
if
cool.
I could.
Nice. That's a good answer. Do you have a favorite NFL or NBA team that you follow really closely?
Well, I'm from Arlington, so I'm gonna just go Cowboys. But like I don't really
I'm
watch.
sorry.
Yeah, I don't really. I know. I don't really
Hey, the
watch.
Cowboys won big on Sunday.
I don't watch too much NFL. It's more like once Texas football plays, like then I tune out after that. So until the playoffs, but my sports team is Texas, so I don't need any more anxiety or depression from another sports team. And based off of Fancy's response, like, oh, sorry, I'm like, yeah, that's no,
Look,
never. I don't need my Sundays ruined too. So
no, that's fair. Listen, I'm a Lions fan, and for years and years and years,
yeah,
it was nothing but pain.
yeah.
My team went
That's
0
where I'm
and
at
16
right
at one
now.
point.
Oh God.
Look, the Lions went 0 and 16, so like I don't feel feelings anymore. So I can identify with that. I appreciate
But
it.
every time we say that, we have to remind Megan they went 0 and 16 after going 4-0 in the preseason.
Damn.
Yeah, it was rough. Let's just say it was
Okay.
rough.
Yeah.
One more of our questions, and then we have a couple more viewer questions
Let's
of our
do it.
friends that have a question for you. One more for us. When you're coming to the cookout or the potluck, what dish are you whipping up?
Cannot cook, but let's say
You bring the plates.
Yeah, I'll probably just bring the plates. Man, I'm just there
right?
to eat, man. I was just there to eat. I'll be honest with you, but if I could just pick a dish I like the most, I would just say peach cobbler or something like that. So no,
Okay.
is it peach cobbler? What's it? What's it? Banana something. I
Banana
haven't had it in a
Banana
long
pudding
time.
or something.
Banana pudding. Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight, so I'm like cutting out sweets and being like trying to be really strict with myself. So yes, banana pudding is what I'd bring, even though I probably eat it on my way there.
All right. David Wheeler asks, who's your favorite player on this year's team?
Anthony Hill, man. Anthony Hill. The dude's just like a jet. And it's probably his last year here, but man.
Oh, for sure.
Anthony Hill.
All right. One more question. Mike D says, who's your favorite player on Texas on the offense, defense, and coach of all times on football? So your favorite all-time offense, defense, and coach?
Offensive, like, and coach, me head coach or like just position?
It just says that I guess head coach of all time on the Texas, who just was at Texas.
I think that's no brainer. It's Sark. I had 1 year with Strong. I had 4 under Harmon, but like that was kind of that had its own issues there. But I'm gonna go with Sark, and my coach overall is definitely Coach Flood. Favorite offensive like player,
all time in Texas.
All time, man. I'll tell you what. I didn't start watching Texas football till 2015 when I was getting recruited, man. Like I just was tuned out of sports. Like I'm not gonna watch something I'm not invested in. So it wasn't until after Texas offered me May of 2015 is when I watched my first season of Texas football, fall 2015. So they were just talking about Vincent Colt earlier. I'm like, I was in elementary school. I wasn't watching all that.
No,
so,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So all time, man. If I just pick like actually, you know what? I'll say Bijan. I play with Bijan. He's the Doak Walker Award winner. So like I'm gonna go Bijan offensively.
Great answer.
Y'all know Bijan. Like he's probably like the nicest guy. Like it was a point where like Bijan, you said damn, oh my God, like you don't curse at all.
Like that was a big deal.
Exactly,
He was mad.
Oh my gosh. I was like, bro, Bijan, like you just said the D word. That's how like honest and good of a guy he is. Defense, I would say it got to be Puna. I'm just going off people I played with. Puna, Oh my goodness.
He's a bad man.
I was doing scout team my freshman year, and sophomore year. I wanted no parts of Puna Ford. Wanted no parts of him. So,
I love it.
Him and Byron. If him and Byron Murphy were on the same team, oh my God,
that would have been crazy.
That would be insane. But yeah, it's a tie between Byron Murphy and Puna Ford. I can't make a decision there.
Did they both go to Seattle?
Yes. Puna wasn't drafted. He was undrafted in Seattle. I think he went to Buffalo. Now he's with the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he started at Seattle. I'm glad you mentioned Bijan, because right now I'm sure you must be so proud that he's like now people are considering him the most exciting, best player in the NFL right now. Like and he represents the university so well. He represents his new team and city so well. Just so proud of him.
Yeah,
and it's Bijan. What? Okay, he recently said it's Bijan.
Bijan, yeah. I still have to remind myself, but I've just been saying Bijan for the past 5 years.
So, like, when you were playing with him, you called him Bijan, right?
Bijan, yeah, And I guess he was just like didn't want to correct anybody. He's just like went with it.
He's so nice. He's like, it's fine.
Exactly, So he's just one of the coolest guys ever, man. And all the success he's getting right now is definitely deserved.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Well, Tope, man, we appreciate you. You are awesome. We thank you so much for your time. All right, before you leave, one last question for you.
Yeah.
You got to give us your prediction for the game coming up this weekend. So who do you got? It's all right. It's all right. We're giving ours too. We'll be doing that a little later in the show. So
it's okay to keep it real, because I'm gonna keep it real when I give my prediction.
13-10, Texas.
All right. Hey, it's a win. A win on the road is a win. I'll take it.
But
is it going to be a pick six and 3 safeties, or
it's gonna be 2 field goals. It's gonna be 2 field goals. Pick six by Anthony Hill.
I like that. All right.
That'd be nice.
Well, we clocked it here. Take it down. Take notes. I love it. Hey, again, Tope, thank you so much for your time and your insight. We really appreciate you. You're one of our favorite lifetime Longhorn fans. You always keep it real with us.
Thank you so much.
It's been way too long. Y'all have a great night, okay?
Thanks, man. You too.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye,
Sharpie.
Bye, Sharpie, and bye, Splenda, or Splenda, what was the other one? Splenda.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Tope.
He's amazing.
He's awesome, man. I always a good time having him on, and so grateful that he takes the time to talk to us. I love those insights. I love getting that peek behind the curtain, and he always keeps it real with us. So, look, we're justified in feeling frustrated with where things are in the season, but I also appreciate hearing that the players are harder on themselves than us fans can ever be. Right. So we've got to take that breath. We got to give them our support. They will get there. Coach Flood didn't forget how to coach. These guys didn't just lose talent. It's just a matter of reps and snaps. Right. So we'll do what we can, keep working on improving every week. So I appreciated that perspective from him for sure.
I like that he mentioned it's probably like the defense who's getting all the offense, like, let's go, but in an encouraging way. Because we saw the way, Simmons and Hill, when they talked about the offense, we're a team, we win as a team, we're a whole team, it takes all of us, so they're presenting that. But I like behind the scenes, he's probably saying like that defense, of course Coach Flood is on it, but that defense is probably, get it on too. Let's go, everybody get going. So they're going back and they're going to Starkville this weekend. You want to give a little love to Rockin' Diamond S Ranch real quick, and then we will dive into our Mississippi State preview. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's roll.
Go ahead.
All right, y'all. So if you are looking for an amazing hill country getaway, look no farther than the Rockin' Diamond S Ranch. You've got to check it out. It is seated on 120 acres in the beautiful hill country just near Johnson City. It's a quick drive to Austin or San Antonio. The property is absolutely stunning and sleeps 14 with 1 primary home and 2 fully furnished cabins. There is so much to do out there. You can hop on the ATVs. You can go wildlife watching. You can play with the Longhorns, go fishing, go hunting if you want to. Or just up the road in Blanco, you can go and check out the shopping and the eating and the distilleries. It is a great place to be. So if you've got something coming up, you want to come in for the Texas games, you want a family vacation, you just want to get away from it all, again, you got to check out the Rockin' Diamond S Ranch. So give our good friend Chuck Smith a call at 512-694-1969 or check him out online. That's rockindiamondsranch.com. Tell him that Fire the Cannon sent you.
Good job, Megan. I just saw we have this.
so we can applaud ourselves.
That's applause. I didn't know we had that.
I'm good. Let's hard pass on that. We
Good
aren't the
job,
shock
Megan.
jocks. Yeah, look, we're not the shock jocks in the morning with the boingy noises
With,
and
look, there's a
the
gong.
horn. We're done with that. We're done. We're done.
I
Fire
just
the
saw these
cannon.
buttons.
Only has cannon booms. That's it, my friend. That's it.
We don't have fire the gong. Now
No.
all of a sudden, no, I'm just kidding. No,
All
let's. All right, Megan, for real though, I just thought that was hilarious. All right, let's dive into Texas. So, Megan, Texas 6.5-point favorites going into Starkville. To me, 6.5 is a lot. But let's start with the injury report. This is Wednesday's injury report. Of course, the biggest news in Texas football was yesterday. All-American, leading tackler, impact, vocal leader, decision maker in the secondary, Michael Taft. I mean, I could go on and on with the importance of his position and his experience and his impact in the game. Broke his thumb in the game at Kentucky and still played the end of the fourth quarter and overtime, and still was impactful with a broken thumb in that game. He is out. We don't know how long, but he ended up having surgery. Out is Aaron Butler, wide receiver, out still. Cole Hudson, out. Michael Taft. Probably playing CJ Baxter. Probable Xavier Filsme, which is the backup to Michael Taft. And we know we have Derek Williams and other players, talent, but not as experienced. And then linebacker Jonathan Cunningham, not a huge impact player, but still, we always want depth on the road. After losing the quarterback of the offensive line, now we're out also the quarterback of the defense, Megan, of the secondary, at least. Thoughts?
Yeah, not great, Bob. Not great. But look, I do think the positive here is that we are very likely getting CJ Baxter back. We do see that Connor Stroh is off the list completely, so we will get a little more depth there. That will be good. But yeah, I mean, not ideal to have your center out again. So again, Texas, like, keep in mind, we got some good reps in last week with Kentucky, but things might still be a little bit rough around the edges with that starting center and Cole Hudson out. And of course, like you mentioned, Rocky, we know that Mookie is just the heart and soul of this Texas team. He's a very vocal leader, especially on defense. So that, while I do think that will have impact, of course, how could it not? The thing that I am encouraged by is, again, this defense is rock solid, and they are definitely out for blood. They hear the chatter, whether they say they do or not. So they know that they're going to have the offenses back. Special teams is going to have the offenses back. They're going to look out for each other. So while it's not ideal that Mookie is out, I do have every confidence that it'll be the next man up mentality with Derek Williams, and they'll be all right.
Derek Williams, hopefully Xavier Filsme. Mike D says, will we see Jonah Williams? We saw Jonah Williams has played some special teams, even got registered a tackle last week, but no defensive snaps yet. We know he came back from that, was it hamstring injury for a while, and so it took him a while to get up to speed, especially coming off a full baseball season. So I'm not sure if he's ready to go in the rotation on the road in that environment, but it's good to know you have a superstar like, an athlete like Jonah Williams in that depth chart who can play, safety there. But I think the biggest thing about Michael Taft is just like, remember in camp, they had to tell him not to talk so much or take him out and let other people talk because he's such a vocal leader too, right? All right. So quickly, we'll just look at Mississippi State. They have the linebacker Tillman that had the targeting penalty. That's why he's only out. It says the first half. Questionable, Megan. You wanted to talk about this player, Fluff.
I literally just want to say this is the most amazing name I've ever seen.
This name, Fluff Bothwell, is questionable. You had some notes on Fluff Bothwell.
I just can't tell. Is that his name or is that like an English dish? I'd like a Fluff Bothwell, please. Like, doesn't it sound like some kind of fancy
Hold
drink?
the raisins.
Hold the raisins on that. Yeah, look. So yes, he'll be out.
That is a cool name. Love it. I love that name.
It's so cool. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, jumping in. Look, let's talk environment real quick, Rocky. I know that for those that aren't familiar, if you are going to Stark Vegas this weekend, get ready for more cowbell. It is going to be loud as shit there. They are going to have, look, MSU might not have the team that they hope to, but they are a team that can jump in things and screw things up. And I will tell you this, they gave Texas some fits last year in Austin, and they are a better team this year than they were last year. So expect a loud and raucous crowd, expect cowbells the entire time. And we're talking like loud clanging the entire time. We know that the Swamp was loud. We know that, the Cotton Bowl can be loud too. Kentucky, their speakers were loud. I'll give them that. But it's going to be a loud, raucous environment. It's that mid-afternoon game. So not super early, not super late.
3:15 p.m. for us here.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be kind of a crazy environment. Weather looks to be nice. That shouldn't be a factor. Rocky, what are you looking for in this matchup? Like, let's jump into it.
Well, Mississippi State has been in every game this year. They took Tennessee to overtime. They have a winning record at home, including an upset against Arizona State, who just beat Tech this year, last weekend. So I think the biggest thing that we're going to be looking at is our offense, Texas's offensive struggles, keeping pace with Mississippi State's offense. I wanted to kind of look at how Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator, has fared against Texas the last few years. We know he was the OC and QB coach at OU in 22 and 23, and that was his first year there was the 49-0 year. So it's kind of hard to judge that year because he had Davis Bevel as his quarterback. So that's kind of hard to tell off the first year. But the second year, when he had a little experience with his system, brought some players in, they had Dylan Gabriel, and all of a sudden, when you have a superstar, an athlete like Dylan Gabriel, all of a sudden you look like a great play caller and a great offensive coordinator, right? And Dylan Gabriel had his best game ever, and that was that 34-30 game where Quinn started off with a couple INTs, and they had to play catch up, right? But they did run for over 200 yards on Texas and throw for 285 yards against Texas. So when he gets going with his system, he can have success against Kwiatkowski. Last year with Mississippi State as their OC, they came to Austin. They had Van Buren, not their best effort all last year because they didn't win any SEC games, but were able to run the ball for 150 yards, throw for another 144. So if the pattern holds, they should have some success, offensive success against Texas.
Yeah, look, the upside here is that Texas's defense is lights out, right? I don't know that Mississippi State has gone up against a true defense like Texas quite yet. But you're right, Rocky. It's going to be a matter of, can the offense score enough points can the defense hold this potentially fiery Mississippi State offense to few enough points that the Texas offense can outscore them, right? That's going to be the question in this game. Keep in mind too, with Jeff Lebby, he's got experience against Texas, right? He knows not only against Sarkisian, going back though too, he was a Baylor guy. He was with Art Briles for a long time. I think he's in the Briles family, actually. Texas, if you're looking for a reason to hate him even more, he is Art Briles' son-in-law, I believe. Got in trouble at OU. He was actually the reason Venables took all that heat, because Briles got on the field at OU, and that caused a big a big shitstorm. So I don't know, maybe we'll get some distractions. Maybe we'll get Art Briles on the field
or something. Yeah, I don't know. CB will know. Yep, that's father-in-law. Yep, Lebby is the Art Briles' son-in-law. Yep. Yeah, that's why I thought it was like his father-in-law. Yeah.
So again, CB, thanks for this. Last year versus Mississippi State, it was 14-6 at the half. Like I said, this is going to be a game where being in Starkville is definitely going to be a challenge there. Lebby does have some experience against Texas. He knows how to coach up against PK too. So Texas is going to have to be able to keep up. So, couple of questions, Rocky. You had some questions for the game.
Yeah, I think the biggest question will be their quarterback, Blake Shapen, old Baylor quarterback. We saw last week he had an opportunity to win that game and threw an interception. And so I had to go look and say, well, is he interception throwing prone? 9 TDs to 5 interceptions. That's not very good. But I think the key is he's given up an interception in every SEC game and 3 interceptions and only 2 passing touchdowns in this time. So while the stats look great, finishing the drives isn't always in his hands. They don't put that in his hands very much. He's taken 14 sacks in just these SEC games, but they are finding a rhythm. He put up a bunch of yards against Florida, and again was in it to win it at the end, but through that interception. So I think if Texas, we saw it's coming on. So many different players for Texas have gotten their hands on an interception, including Anthony Hill last week. But so has Mississippi State, and that's going to be something to watch. That they're one of the best in the country in forcing interceptions as well. So I guess my thing would be who protects the ball, right? We've seen Arch do a great job. The one thing Arch does really well is not put the ball in harm's way lately. And these, at least in the last couple of games,
lately for sure,
throws it away or at the feet or overthrow it, whatever. It's not going. Knock on wood, it's not going to the other team the last couple of games. Blake Shapen has been in a rhythm of giving it to the other team, and that could be a deal breaker in a game that could be tight and low scoring. Maybe we'll see. That could be a deal breaker, is which quarterback makes that turnover mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing to look for, like you brought up a little bit earlier, because Fluff Bothwell, hold the raisins, is
I love that
it's so good. It's so good, man. Is questionable. He has been a big part of Mississippi State's success. So if he is in there, I mean, he's been out since A&M. He got injured at A&M, and if you guys remember, early on in that A&M game, Mississippi State hung in. They were tough. They played A&M tough. Mm-hmm. A&M did end up pulling away from that game towards the end, but Fluff was out at that point. So, I think that is going to be a factor. If they can, like we've talked about with Texas games as well, you can establish that run. It makes things a lot easier for your offense to go. So with Mississippi State potentially missing out on one of their more successful runners, that could affect how much they are able to score, especially against this Texas defense. So I do think that's going to be a key here. If he is out, that definitely bodes well for Texas, because Mississippi State becomes a little more one-dimensional. You get that pressure on them. And like Rocky just mentioned, their quarterback is a little bit interception prone. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looking on. So I don't know, Rocky, how are you feeling? Like, is this are the vibes high for this weekend?
No. No, I mean, I'm going to keep it real.
All right.
I'm gonna keep it real. Coming off that Kentucky abysmal offensive performance, and fortunate enough, like we want complementary football, right? That's what every team wants to play. And when the defense gives you great field position and the special teams gives you great field position, and they even hand you turnovers, interceptions, things where you can take advantage, and the offense doesn't take advantage of that and put points and reward the defense for those efforts. And then they did a great job. Ryan Niblick got them all the way down the field, and that's the only way they got a touchdown and a field goal, right? They wouldn't have moved the chains otherwise down the field. And that really concerns me going into this environment, being able to keep up with Mississippi State's offense. That Mississippi State can move the chains and keep the ball going. They just threw for, like I said, over 300 yards against Florida. Without Taft, that does make a difference. He is the leader. He is a vocal presence on that field, directing, the captain of that back end. And fortunately, like we saw what difference it made not having Malik Muhammad against Florida. And he's a fantastic player, and I'm glad he's back. He's been back, but something about missing Taft really, really worries me.
No, I appreciate it. Again, anytime one of your leaders is out, that's definitely tough. So let's look at some key matchups here. I think I think the biggest one brought up, Texas is giving up 49% pressure on Arch. But a little positivity here. The MSU defense has the 5th worst pass rush in P4. So a little bit of hope. We know that we've been hard on the offensive line. Again, some of it fair, some of it not. But this O-line is going to have to stand up. The good news is they're not they're going against the 5th worst pass rush in P4. So that might be a little bit of reprieve for an O-line that's still kind of struggling to find its groove. Rocky, how do you
I thought
see
that was going to help us against Kentucky last week. Like, everybody runs the ball in Kentucky. People have their record-breaking rushing, stats against Kentucky. Texas with 40-something yards. Like, at some point, just throw out the numbers, and when you're going to get people's best effort because you came into the season #1 in the country. Texas hasn't been to these environments, Mississippi State in however many years, in Starkville. They had never played in Lexington last week. Like, you're going to get their best shot, like you should, being a big program like Texas. So throw out these stats of, everybody runs the ball on Kentucky. Everybody can throw, nope. Everybody can hold up to the pressure of Mississippi State. Watch them bring pressure all of a sudden.
No, I get it. Again, we're definitely going to see their best effort, like you said. We're going to see something different, but I still have confidence. Like, at the end of the day, at this point in the season, the team is what they are, and they may play out of their minds. They may, keep things tight. Again, that historically is what Mississippi State has been. They've been a team that has played really close early on and then gets a little bit of distance. Maybe that fatigue sets in a little bit. That's where the talent gap kind of shows off. But you're right. They do have the ability and the talent, and this is a better team than they were last year. They have the ability to play spoiler, 100%. So something to keep an eye on too. Now, Rocky, I wanted to ask another question. Like, we've been really high on the defense. We've been really happy with them, but we did see some holes against Florida. I think, Napier had a good plan against our defense with Florida, and maybe a little bit with Kentucky too. We did see a few explosive plays from Kentucky of all teams. So was the Texas defense exposed there a little bit for an offensive coordinator, offensively minded guy like Levy? What are your thoughts on that?
I think they were. I wouldn't use they were exposed against Florida. I wouldn't use it so much on Lexington and Kentucky, but man, Boley sure had his career night, throwing the ball all around. There are spots to be had, but at the end of the day, Texas bends doesn't break. At the end of the day, what matters is the points on the board, given what they actually give up. And when you add in the confidence they must have coming off that goal line stand, right? 4 shots within, from the 3-yard line that they, or something like that they had, and they couldn't get in. That really shows that the Texas defense, especially after having played 90 plays, 40 minutes of the game, defense was out there, and they still had the confidence and strength to finish that game with that pride, right? To finish that game for the offense to help them out. I think, I don't know if it's when we just looked at Levy versus Kwiatkowski over the last few years, it's kind of gone back and forth. And if, like I said, if this pattern holds of him struggling with the new team and then bringing his team and lighting him up and then struggling with the new team, the pattern would be that he's got something ready for Kwiatkowski's plan right now. And we'll see who executes, who makes the critical mistake, and who sticks to the game plan. I feel good about whatever game plan they're going to have, because 7 games in now, they have enough film on what Levy is doing with this group this year, right? And that helps.
Absolutely. And again, we know PK can coach them up and have them ready. And I do think, like I said, I think that defense, I think the whole team is absolutely feeling, again, the chatter. They wanted to show out better in Lexington than they did. So I know that that's been an intense week of practice looking there. So, all right, let's talk about some quick concerns, and then we will take a quick look at college football, and of course, give our predictions at the end of the show. So quick concerns, we've already addressed a lot of them. The O-line, of course, we talked about it with Tope. We've talked about it here. Look, this team is going to live and die by the O-line. At the end of the day, if you can't score any points, it doesn't matter how good your defense is. So that O-line play is really going to have to improve from what we saw in Lexington, because again, Mississippi State is a better, more complete team than Kentucky. So big concern there. Rocky, what are some concerns that you have?
You know, protecting Arch. Like we said earlier, he's already gotten hit 40 times or something, more than Quinn got hit all last year. We mentioned that. So really protecting him. He cannot keep taking these brutal hits, you know, right in his face, put on his back. That's just not a recipe for keeping him, you know, successful and confident for the rest of the season. So protecting Arch, I like when Coach Sark gets him moving and like calls intentional runs for him, or calls those just QB run plays that he goes and he gives the hit, he delivers the hit, he slides, he gets up confident and feeling good and moving the chains. I like when he gets a couple of those under his belt to get, you know, into the game. It seems like once he takes that first hit or two that he delivers, he's up and going. But it's a different Arch when he's the one who's getting hit because a block was missed and he got blown up. So protect Arch and call him plays where he can build his confidence. I don't know if we can just say, oh, go back to the quick passing game like they did in Oklahoma, because again, we have a different O-line, a different connection every week. So those are my concerns of giving him confidence and protecting him.
No, yeah, those are all very valid. All right, I'm going to bring this up. We've talked really highly. We know that our special teams has been a shining light this year, which is really nice. It's a nice change of pace for Texas, for sure. What I will say that, and I've been hard on him, but I got to say it, where I get a little concerned, I think kicking is going to be important in this game. And I think that, you know, the Texas offense, as they're struggling to kind of make things click and get that going, we're really going to have to lean on our kicker. And while Mason Shipley has been amazing, again, not taking this away from him, he's getting a lot of national recognition right now. The only place that he has struggled a little bit is in those long distance field goals, which I think could come into play in this game. Again, right now, for 2025, he's at an 84.6 field goal percentage. So hasn't missed really up until this year. The only kicks that he's missed 2 at 50 plus. He's 1 for 3 at 50 plus yards. So that's something that I think we need to be leery of. This offense has to get him close enough to get him within that comfortable range, because literally everything under 50 he's made. He hasn't missed a single thing. So I'm going to knock on wood when I'm saying that, but I will say this is the concern, right? Like those longer distance, like Texas offense has to put him in a position a little bit to keep it under 50, give them those high percentage kicks.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be, going along with talking about special teams. We've seen Ryan Niblett have fantastic success and really building a national name for himself too as a punt returner. I think he's the ranked second for yards per return now in the country, which is incredible, especially early in the season. At Ohio State, you saw the nerves and a little bit of timidness when he was going, getting under those punts, but now so much confidence and we're just really building. I like that. We probably won't see Mississippi State punt it right to him. They'll probably try to play away from him a bit. So what goes along with that is that he's not going to have the opportunity to return it all the way back to the 3-yard line and help them out. So it's going to be a challenge for the offense to make up for what the opportunity Ryan Niblett might not get on special teams. And of course the defense, like I said, my biggest concern is that quarterback in the secondary, the most experienced, almost 400 snaps this year for Taft, and they're gone this week. So we hope he heals quickly. We know he's a competitive guy, and we know he wants to get back as soon as possible to help the team. So, that's scary. All right, absolutely. Megan, do you have a key to the game? We'll kind of move through quickly. Do you have a key to the game for Texas to pull this out? We'll give our score prediction in a minute, but key to the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I might be repeating myself a little bit here, but it still stands true. This is going to be a loud environment, and Texas can't shoot themselves in the foot. Given that our vocal leader on defense is out, given that the offense has struggled a little bit recently, you just can't put yourself in bad positions, right? You can't get behind the chains. You can't get behind with silly penalties. So Texas is going to have to, we know that Hudson is out again, but hopefully that, in-game real snap experience with Kentucky and then that hard practice week that they've had helps advance them a little bit from where they were to start the Kentucky game. So again, clean football. Don't get silly penalties. You got to keep your head in the game. Don't make dumb mistakes, and don't put yourself in, third and long situations. So that's a big one.
No, nobody is in 2nd and 12 or more than Texas. I saw that.
Which is
crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So my key to the game: run the ball, take the points. We got to establish the run. We did not even attempt the run as much as other people had against Kentucky, and other teams were able to have success. It was just a difficult day on the ground for Texas. They were able to run it against OU. They've got to be able to run the ball. Hopefully, with Baxter coming back, that opens up more concepts that they can execute. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see about that. And like you said, get in a range where Shipley is comfortable and successful, and take the points. The points will matter in this game. All right.
Absolutely.
So let's kind of look at the broader college football, and then we'll make our Texas prediction when we make our other game predictions. This is the top 25 right now. We looked at it on Monday, so we don't need to go too in depth right now. But you can see Texas dropped to number 22, even though 9 teams in the top 25 lost. Texas dropped a point ranking, which is fine because they didn't look good. But this weekend, there are 3 top 25 teams that are resting. Bye week, Ohio State number 1, Georgia number 5, and Notre Dame number 12 are off this week. We're in that time, Megan. How many days in a row of some kind of football on TV? 50?
It was 49 days in a row. And we're kind of smack dab in the middle of that right now.
And I sure was watching Middle Tennessee something against somebody, whatever, earlier just now. We have this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, college football. So there's something every day for everyone. But let's look at Saturday's biggest games. UCLA goes to number 2, Indiana. They're up to number 2. And, they locked down that coach, Signetti. They locked down that coach with all these big openings. Penn State, all these big schools open now. Florida now open. They locked down their coach, but they fired their OC. I mean, they fired their head coach, UCLA. Their DC and OC left. So Tim Skipper, who was the special assistant, steps up to coach them. And what do? Beat number 7, Penn State. They go to win at Michigan, and then they win against Maryland. They are now 3-1 in the Big Ten because, UCLA is a classic Big Ten team, right? They're going to go play Indiana, number 2 in the country, who whooped up on Illinois. We talked about that. And then went to Oregon and won at Oregon. This is my question for you, Megan. Is UCLA on fire, or is there's a Cinderella story over when they get to Indiana on Saturday morning?
Just bluntly, it's over.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Yeah,
Indiana. Indiana is crazy good right now, which is not a sentence I thought I would be saying really in my lifetime. No, I'm kidding. Look, Indiana is a really good team right now. So sorry, UCLA. That's just going to be, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, that's going to be rough. Indiana's favored by 25.5 points. They are averaging 44 points a game, Indiana, 38 points a game in the Big Ten. This is exciting for UCLA to have this kind of excitement back for their program. And good luck to Tim Skipper. I don't know if he's interviewing, this is his interview for the job. But wow, he's doing a great job.
If you could turn UCLA around, man, I think that's a pretty solid tick on your resume for being considered for the job. All I can
His
think
first win was number 7 Penn State. I mean,
yeah, it's
sent
crazy.
them into turmoil.
All I can think of when you're talking about it being great for the fans is from Arrested Development, when Toby was out there trying to rally everybody, and he's like, "There are dozens of us, dozens." That's all I can think of. There are dozens of UCLA fans that are very excited right now.
Love it. Yeah, Mike D agrees it's over. Sad but true, but hopefully they play well. 25.5 is a lot, but Indiana probably cover because, they're putting up a lot of points. 6-1, number 8 Ole Miss. This is the big one. Number 8 Ole Miss goes to number 13 OU. Both teams are 6-1. We know Ole Miss lost their best win right now is against LSU, but is that their best win? Because, oh, that's terrible. They are giving up a lot of points, Ole Miss. We saw Georgia never even punted in their game against them. 35 points to Arkansas. But Shambliss, though, remember we talked about a beautiful loss? Shambliss, oh man, their quarterback, he is smooth. I like him a lot. OU, Mateer rebounded last weekend at SC, but he's not running the ball like he did earlier in the season. Even, we saw him struggle to run the ball against Texas. In this game, he was 8 carries for 14 yards. They love that being a part of Mateer's game earlier in the season, and it's not happening too much now. Maybe he's hesitant because he's, protecting himself, but OU 4.5-point favorites against Ole Miss in Norman. What do you think, Megan?
Yeah, again, looking at the analytics of this, OU is definitely, it's a favorable matchup for OU. That being said, again, this is going to be one of those games where you find out. I think this game is going to really tell us who each of these teams are, not just one or the other.
Ooh, yeah.
The question is, is OU really the team that Texas played, where they're kind of faking it, right? They haven't had the craziest schedule so far. And Ole Miss, same thing, like you said, Rocky. Their biggest win is against LSU, and that's not turning out to be such an impressive thing. So again, in this game, I really do think this is going to be. We find out who both of these teams are. All that being said, I know OU's favored by 4.5. They are at Norman. I'm taking Ole Miss in this one, Rocky. I think against my better judgment, perhaps, but I think Lane Kiffin just finds something, turns it on in this game, and I'm going to take Ole Miss.
All right. David agrees with you. Mike agrees with you. They're all taking Ole Miss too. I think Shambliss. This is going to be a fun Shambliss Mateer game to watch. I just think Shambliss has a lot that OU hasn't seen. He's so sneaky good. I think Ole Miss is going to put up enough points. I'm going to go with Ole Miss as well and OU to go in and upset OU. They are not, however, the game of the week, the college game day. You'll be surprised when we see who it is in a second. Just throw out there a ranked game. USF goes to Memphis. A good rivalry. Kansas State at Kansas is good. A 3-4 team against a 4-3 team. Kansas favored by a field goal at home. Those are all the morning 11 a.m. games. There's some big afternoon games. This is a big one. Number 4 Bama at South Carolina. South Carolina looked terrible against OU at home. Alabama 13.5-point favorites. Ty Simpson's now a Heisman favorite. Bama's quarterback. Yeah. What do you think about that, Megan?
Look, I'm eating my words from early on. I thought DeBoer wasn't going to get it together. I thought he was going to suffer. Like, he hadn't looked super impressive. And again, it's hard to be the man that follows Saban, but he's got this Alabama team rolling, and they're playing really, really, really good football right now. So Alabama favored by 13.5 at South Carolina. I'm taking that, and I'm taking the over. I think Alabama rolls in this game. I think it's going to be crazy. And, sorry about you, Gamecocks. Like, it's going to be roasted chicken.
Yeah, sorry about you, because Alabama is on fire. I think they're playing like the best team in the country. Ty Simpson, almost 2,000 yards passing already, 20 touchdowns total, 18 passing, 2 rushing. He has a 170 QBR, and this is all after they looked just embarrassed by Florida State, and then boom, DeBoer even said they use that Florida State game as motivation still every day, like the way they played that day. South Carolina, that's gonna be bad. And it's also important to bring up Alabama, because the other 2:30 game, which is the college game day game in Nashville for Vanderbilt, 15 Mizzou at 10 Vanderbilt. The only team, they're both 6-1, and both of those losses are to Bama. They both lost to Bama. Mizzou lost field goal to Bama. They have no ranked wins. Missouri hasn't beaten a single ranked team. Vanderbilt has beaten, SC, South Carolina, when they were number 11. That doesn't matter and then they beat number 10 LSU last weekend, but that's not a big win either now. It looks like it. But man, my eyeballs tell me that's a dang good team, Vanderbilt, number 10 in the country. They're favored by 2.5 at home. What do you think, Megan?
I'm going to take the Fighting Pavias in this one. I think at home with his swagger, everything here. Like I think Vanderbilt's playing for pride, and I agree. Like Mizzou, they're a good football team right now, but little suspect with the wins that they have and who they've played. So I'm taking Vanderbilt. Obviously, I mean it's 2.5-point game here, so I think the over for sure. But it's going to be a tight one. This is going to be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Missouri, we saw their stats in the last couple weeks. They're still one of the best in the country on third down defense. Vanderbilt #1 or something in the country in third down offense. Like this is going to be a good matchup of these two. Missouri can score too, but their defense has sneaky good numbers. So we'll see how Pavia does. But I agree, they will find a way to win and cover that 2.5 at home. I like that. We'll talk about Texas in the end. Just to mention, Stanford goes to #9 Miami. Stanford beat Florida State last week. That was pretty cool. And Miami.
College football is crazy. What is happening?
College football is crazy. Miami, Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions last Friday night against Louisville.
Louisville.
How do you want me to say it? Louisville.
Louisville.
So it made me, again, when we went to go look at Van Buren's or whatever's interceptions, I had to look, or Shapen's interceptions. I had to go see Carson Beck's too. 11 TDs to 7 interceptions. That's not that great, but Miami was winning big, so I guess they can make up for it. Anyway, they're favored at home. This is the big one, Megan, and you and I have been talking about this one for a couple weeks, that it's coming. Aggies are going to get some, I don't think 20 LSU. The team is a big competition, but that environment might be undefeated. One of the only 4 teams left in the country that are undefeated. One of them is A&M. They're going to #20 LSU. We talked about their losses earlier. Aggies are going in 2.5-point favorites, but the odds of them winning are like 52-48. Like this is a tight game. What are you thinking when you look at A&M and what you're seeing from LSU?
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those games that is an emotional game. These two teams don't like each other. That has been something that got established when A&M went to the SEC, got away from Texas, and I think it's going to be a crazy game. Playing in Death Valley at night is an experience, man. It's crazy. And while we've talked about this all season, we don't think that LSU is the crazy team that everybody thought they were at the beginning of the season. We called them out as being pretenders early on, and they kind of were. But yeah, I think this is going to be a nuts game. I think LSU is going to bring that hate out. And Rocky, I'm going to say this. Lord help me. I think the Tigers take this one.
What?
Yeah, I think and for the sole reason that A&M is always they're due for one of their stumble games. I think A&M is the better team. I think they are playing better football right now. But again, going into Death Valley at night with that environment, and A&M, I still think is due for a little bit of, like, they got some distraction going on. They got a little bit of, might be getting into their heads a little bit that they're 7-0 and they're getting that national recognition. So I'm going to take it. It's going to be a close one. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Certainly not going to be a 7 overtime game, but I'm going to take LSU on this one, Rocky.
All right. David Wheeler agrees with you. Aggies are going to lose. LSU pulls it out. Mike D says little brother wins. That's
probably the safe bet, Mike. That's probably the safe bet.
You know, this is my thing. I'm looking at both of their actual, records and who they played and where they played and all that. Aggies still have that really solid win at Notre Dame. That was actually a good resume win. It was starting to look a little shaky, but it's actually a good resume win the way Notre Dame's been playing. I wonder if they were exposed last week in Arkansas, who gave up over 500 yards. They gave up over 500 yards to Arkansas last week, but that could be their fluke Florida game, like the Texas Florida fluke defensive game, because other than that, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, all the other games the Aggies played, they stopped the run. They look like a complete team. LSU looked abysmal. I know they scored 24 points at Vanderbilt, but they look just not together. They still can't score 20 points or more in a game. Other than that one, I don't know if they're gonna be able to keep up with Aggies offense. So I hate to say it, but I think the Aggies are going to be 8-0 after this game.
Woof.
I just don't know how LSU keeps up with the Aggies points.
This anyway. May be the year they beat the 8-4 allegations, Rocky. It may be.
You know, they could go 8-0 and then lose the last 4.
There would be nothing more Aggie than that, would there?
All right. Okay, so let's just say Michigan goes to Michigan State. There's a rivalry again. 17 Tennessee goes to Kentucky in the afternoon. And we always like to say, what's the latest game of the night? The last one of the night is Colorado at Utah, because, you know, they don't care so much about these kids playing till 4 in the morning, not getting home till 4 in the morning.
So stupid.
All right, Megan. Let's wrap up. We got to give our Texas thoughts. We'll share some top stories and stuff later another time. No worries. It's getting late. So let's do you want to give your Texas prediction? How do you think it's going to play out for the Longhorns at Mississippi State? It's on the SEC network. Bump to the SEC network. Texas favored by 6.5. The over/under is 45.5. And it's a 3:15 kickoff.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to say this before I give my prediction. I'm going to give a crazy prediction here. I think we see some crazy trick play. And I suggested this earlier. And I think we see some kind of weird variation of this. So hear me out, y'all. Just bear with me and hear me out. Trick play with Ant and Arch out at wide receiver. Do we see that crazy play that Ant had acting like a wide receiver out there? Put him on offense. Why not? Let's get a little crazy with it. Ant and Arch out at wide receiver. Michael Terry at running back, and Wisner taking a wildcat snap. Just let's get crazy with it. I think we see something nuts like that.
That is some desperate.
It's not desperate. Let him have fun.
We need to simplify the offense, not make it.
Give them one crazy play. I'm here for it. So I do think we see something kind of wild from Texas. We've seen one crazy trick play at least attempt in every game so far. I think we see another one here. All right, y'all. The confidence level is not super high. The game, we talked earlier with Tope Imade. Again, thank you for joining us, giving us his insights on the O-line and what the expectations there. We talked Mississippi State. I'm stalling a little bit here, Rocky, but I'm going to say it. I think Texas pulls this one out, but I think it's going to be uncomfortable for a hot minute. I do think Texas figures it out. I think the defense keeps them in it enough. Whew. All right. I'm going 17-13. Texas wins.
Okay. I said when we went into Florida, we were going to lose. And I was right. I was off on the score, but the premise was we couldn't score on them enough. I'm just going to keep it real. I don't know where points are coming from. And like I was, teasing with Tope, like he said, 13, 16, whatever it was. And like, so pick 6 and a bunch of safeties, because that's where the points are going to have to come from. I can't count on defense. How do I say this? We can't. It's not the winning strategy. It's just trust your defense to keep the offense so low, the number that they need to get so low. And they've done a fantastic job, and they can still do it again. I just don't know how Texas scores enough with this offense that is really putting up yards and points right now. Mississippi State, not Texas. I just cannot pick Texas to win this game. I just don't know how.
So what's your final prediction?
I'm going to say Mississippi State 23, Texas 12.
12. All right. So
I don't know how four field goals.
Whew. That's painful, Rocky. That's painful.
Miracle. That's fair. First team to 20 wins. I agree. And Mississippi, that environment. This offense has not played well on the road. I don't know how they're going to get points. That worries me going into the rest of the season.
That's fair. Mike D, man, you see it 16. You see the vision, right? 16-13. You're not that far off from what I predicted. All right, y'all. Well, we see not a lot of high confidence here for Texas. Hopefully they can go in, get some things figured out. Definitely going to be missing Mookie. Definitely going to be missing Hudson at center. So, but I believe we can find some magic here. David Wheeler, you believe too. 20-16 Texas.
I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope we win 50-0.
Yeah. Well, that might be a stretch. Well, y'all, we appreciate you. Again, thank you to Tope Imade for joining us. It's always
Thank you,
great to have his
Tope.
insights. Yeah, absolutely. So if y'all didn't catch him early on, please be sure to check out our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. We are Fire the Cannon podcast. You can rewatch from early on, get Tope's insights on the O-line and what to expect. Development, get some insight on Coach Flood and how he does things. It was really a lot of fun having him on. We hope to have him again soon. So again, if you aren't following us on Twitter, please check us out. We are Fire the Cannon and the #1. We appreciate y'all. All right, I got to get ready for a long haul to Mississippi. Got to get the dogs ready. Got to get the truck ready. So until next time, we appreciate y'all joining us. We'll see you then. I'm Megan.
I'm Rocky.
And we are Fire the Cannon. Hook 'em, y'all.